Alright, we're back. Here's the mic. We're back. Again. We're here to talk about the Memphis Grizzlies versus the Toronto Raptors, of course. Right, so the Grizzlies faced the Raptors, and of course it was, as usual, a fierce battle, but the Raptors prevailed. I think that puts us at 2 in a row. The Raptors won again, so that's 2 in a row. Good stuff. Finally, we're coming back to close to 500. So the Raptors have now won 2 games in a row. This game was against the Memphis Grizzlies. The Raptors won 117 to 104. The Grizzlies were without their star point guard, Ja Morant. Unfortunately for him, he was suspended for 1 game for, we can look that up in the media because it doesn't really affect the Raptors if they want to suspend their own players. Whatever reasons they have, they can figure that out. There are some organizations, unfortunately for Toronto, the Raptors haven't been one like it, but, they're just there to have players who can put butts in the seats and treat it more like a circus. You go there, you get entertained, you go home, you don't really care if anybody wins a championship. The circus is off for the off season, type of thing. But the Raptors thankfully have gone for championships and have won a championship, as you can tell. Anyways, the Raptors went up against the Grizzlies, and as I said, they won 117 to 104. 3 matchups we'll be doing today are Brandon Ingram versus Santi Aldama, RJ Barrett versus Mr. Coward. I don't know his first name. What's his name? Cedric. RJ Barrett versus Cedric Coward, and Scotty Barnes versus Jaren Jackson Jr. With no further ado, let's get into this one. With Ingram versus Aldama, we just wanted to see a dominant matchup. Aldama's actually off the bench, but he's one of the veteran players on this team. Well, he's a young player, but he's been on this team a while. He's been playing heavy minutes for the past 2 seasons. He seems like he wants to prove himself, although in this game he didn't shoot too well. We'll start with Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram shot 10 of 15 shots for 26 points on 66% shooting. He hit 1 3-pointer, which is okay. That's fine, especially if you score that many points otherwise. So 26 points, 7 rebounds, 1 stock, which was a block, an assist to turnover ratio of 1-to-1. Let's see, he had 4 assists. He also had 4 turnovers. This is apparently a thing with Brandon Ingram. Hopefully he could turn this around. Turnovers, as we always talk about, they are detrimental to your health. 4 turners can be maximum maybe 12 points. Depends on if you get some 4-point plays in there, but this many that Brandon Ingram has been having consistently, pretty consistently, not every game, but fairly consistently, is something that I think he needs to work on. But overall, a pretty good game. Again, 26.7 rebounds, plus minus of +4. He did his thing obviously when he was on the court, compared to Santi Aldama, who shot 5 for 14 for 35 or 36% shooting, depending on how you're looking at it, for 36% shooting for 15 points. 2 3-pointers, but he shot 2 of 7, so he missed 5 3-pointers. He also had 4 rebounds, an assist to turnover ratio of infinity because he had no turnovers, but he did have 2 assists. I'm not quite sure why that says 5. And Santi Aldama's plus minus was -6. So I don't know how obvious it is to you, but Brandon Ingram does win this matchup hands down. So we'll move on to the next matchup, which would be RJ Barrett versus Cedric Coward. So RJ Barrett went 10 for 19 for 27 points on 52.6% shooting. He hit 2 of 8 3-pointers, so he hit 2 3-pointers, which is okay, but you're aiming for 30 to 40% when you're shooting 3-pointers. Still the 27 points. Still a good shooting percentage at that. 6 rebounds, no defensive stats, an assist to turnover ratio of 3, which is relatively good. 6 assists and 2 turnovers. A plus minus of +19. He was definitely a plus when he was on the court. He's definitely one of the reasons why the team pulled ahead. Cedric Coward, he's a rookie. He's pretty interesting. He's playing about 30 minutes a game for Memphis right now. He's a rookie coming into Memphis this season. He scored 12 points on 5 of 9 shooting, 55% field goal percentage. He didn't hit any 3-pointers. He usually does hit a couple of 3-pointers a game. He had 5 rebounds, an assist to turnover ratio of 5-to-1. 5 assists to 1 turnover, and from a shooting guard, that's pretty good. You have your point guard, that's going to be Ja Morant. Morant. You get your shooting guard to do some distributing and playmaking. It really helps out. It's like I don't really see a bona fide point guard playing in the absence of Ja Morant. That's Jalen Wells, I think, is playing in the starting lineup. Good on Cedric Coward. His plus minus was -7, but again, he's just a rookie. I'm just keeping an eye on him. He was against RJ Barrett. It's not a fair matchup, but in this game, there wasn't really a fair matchup, seeing that Ja Morant would be out. So the last matchup we're going to do for this game is Scotty Barnes versus Triple J, Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson is, he's a stretch forward center. He's the height of a center, but he plays power forward. Let's get into the numbers for Scotty Barnes versus Jaren Jackson Jr. Scotty Barnes shot 8 of 19 for 19 points on 42% shooting. He hit 3 more three-pointers. He had 12 rebounds, 8 assists, and only 2 turnovers for an assist-to-turnover ratio of 4. And his plus-minus was a +9. Obviously, we won this game. Scotty was obviously impactful. That's great. Jaren Jackson Jr., on the other hand, I mean, he shot a bit better, but his impact seemed pretty muted by Scotty Barnes. It seemed like Scotty Barnes' impact against him, obviously he'd be the one guarding him, really took him out of whack. I think he didn't score a lot of his points in the first half against us, if I'm not mistaken. He got 20 points at the end of it on 8 of 15 shooting for 53% with 1 3-pointer, 9 rebounds, 0 stocks. Excuse me, did I mention that Scotty Barnes had 6 stocks? Did I glaze over that just like that? 6 stocks. We gotta go directly back to that. Okay. 5 blocks and 1 steal. That's probably why Jaren Jackson didn't have any points in the first half, because Scotty Barnes was blocking all of it. I didn't actually watch this particular game, to be honest. They're still in depression mode from the Blue Jays. Anyway, Jaren Jackson, he had no stocks and assist-to-turnover ratio of 1.5. So he had 3 assists, 2 turnovers, and his plus-minus was -7. So all in all, it seems like the Raptors held him down. He stretched forward, he shoots threes, he blocks shots, but it looks like he wasn't able to shoot that many threes this game and definitely didn't block any shots. So we got to give this matchup to Scotty Barnes. Obviously, he played either just as well or better, especially on the defensive end in most categories. It's another win for the Raptors. We're playing pretty well. I was pretty satisfied with a lot of the games that we had played, even the ones that we lost, 4 in a row that we lost after the first one. It looked pretty good on the chemistry side. Some of the other games, when plays broke down, the defense was it was atrocious. It just broke down so easily. People were just running around, jumping here and jumping there. They've really got to find their composure in those moments and turn the play in their favor. There's a lot of long arms. There's a lot of wingspans on the team. We got to take advantage of having the lengthy guys that we have on our team. The Houston game, I thought that happened a lot. The Mavericks game, I thought that happened a lot, and I didn't see it happen in any of these 2 games that we won. It's probably part of the growing pains. The first game against the Bucks, I think that was winnable. The Mavericks, we lost by 10. I think that was winnable. And even though it's early in the season, and even though we have clawed back to a 500 record as of tonight against the Bucks, we really should try to take advantage of a season where, frankly, the East is weak, and we just have to have the heart to take advantage of it. And let's see if our team can't step up and grow and be as good as we need to get to those later rounds in the playoffs. It's not a stretch to imagine teams having a hard time beating us at our best in a 7-game series. So it's a long way off. All we have to do now is just keep improving and playing to the ability that we have so far this season. Jamison Battle didn't hit 7 3-pointers this game, but hopefully he's around to hit a couple more at other points when we need him. But we didn't need him this game. This game, it looks like Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, even Murray Boyles, who's becoming a force, played 31 minutes, almost doubled. Really looking like strong players. Really looking like we could build on what we have been doing. It's only been a week and a half, and it's looking pretty good so far. So I'm gonna cover the Bucks game. So yeah, thanks for watching. Again, subscribe, like, comment. I'm just trying to give you guys some insight on how our players are actually doing, whether they need to do better, what they could do better, and generally just some insight on how the Raptors season is going. Anyways, RaptorScope watchers, Raptor fans, you have a good one. Until next game, see you again. Peace out.